Good morning. Couple of things today, or for this week. We're starting our second week, and the big thing this week is we are still considering how we define ourselves, and a couple of things to note there. For myself, as an example, where I come from and where I live are two different things. So, how I live in London, Ontario, but how I define myself, when I meet people, I acknowledge that I'm from the Munsee Delaware Nation, which is located just outside of London, Ontario, and you'll find that that might be similar or unsimilar to how you define yourself, where you from and where you live as well. And so my background, my indigenous background has a lot to do with my perspective in life. And so we're going to look at this week, a little bit along those lines too, about how we define ourselves. And we've seen a little bit of that last week in looking at the categories of that exist out there today about Indigenous people, and a little bit of the historical relationship with how all those definitions came about. And we're going to look a little bit into that more this week. And we're going to look at how the environments around us help to contribute to our identity as well. So I'm going to try to get better at uploading the things that I need you to look at. I encourage you, please. There's a number of you that have submitted work, but I left the date open because of the uploading issues. But I'd like to see all of last week's work handed in this week, and there's only really 2 reflections and those little quizzes that are just like 1 question long each. And so there's those are 5 minor things, but I just want to see that you're involved and that you are engaged in the work. So I'm going to be checking on those. And then this week, what we're going to have is we're going to be looking at the historical relationship between Indigenous people and non-Indigenous people of Canada. And we will also look at, I asked you to find out what Indigenous community is around you where you live. I'm going to ask you, I don't want you, if you are from, I'm from the Munsee Delaware Nation, so I'm going to say no to me doing a little bit of research on Munsee Delaware Nation because that's where I'm from. So the same thing with you folks. Some of you told me you were from Indigenous community, so I don't want you doing your work on that one. But I want you to find another community in Ontario, and we're going to be doing a little bit of research like the 5 W's kind of thing, and what can we find out about them, if anything, about how their Indigenous perspective contributes to their lives. And then I'm going to show you, I'm going to try to upload a couple of resources today, both by the government, so they're PDFs. So I'll get on that as soon as I finish this video post. And so we're looking at, the 5 W's, looking at the 2 documents that I give you, and from there you're going to be picking out a few of the items that stood out to you in the timeline. And I think that's all I'm going to give you for right now, because it's a lot to think about and there's a lot of stuff there. We're going to end the week with another bigger assignment about what makes you you. And those are the big key items this week. And I just want to say welcome to the course. I appreciate you sending me messages. As I shared last week, everything that I shared with you was in the original Google Doc, and that's where we were experiencing all the sharing issues. So I reposted them in their own separate little post there, and people seem to do better with that, but I want to make sure that we get everybody on board this week. So if you haven't finished the work, I'm going to ask you to get in touch with me, and they're just like a paragraph or two possibly, and so it's just giving me some information about you, and let's go from there. So welcome to week 2 of Native Studies, and I'll see you later.